Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that takes the lead in today's edition for Monday, 13th May 2024, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillian Group. Prime Minister seeks regional help to block banks going completely cashless. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. St. Lucia's Prime Minister Philip J. Pear says he will seek regional support against the move by banks operating in the Caribbean towards cashless transactions. The Prime Minister made the comment during the sitting of Parliament on Tuesday last. Zane Romulus of the DBS News World has more.
Prime Minister Philip J. Pear is urging one locally operated bank to rethink its policy regarding cashless transactions. At the recent sitting of Parliament, he told legislators that he had read recently that the unnamed bank had indicated to customers its intention to cease all cash transactions. The Prime Minister, who is also the Minister of Finance, has taken issue with this policy, arguing that it marginalizes some sections of the society, including senior citizens.
I have been very cautious in what I say about banks. Very cautious, very cautious. Because I have the responsibility, Mr. Speaker, as Minister of Finance. But, Mr. Speaker, how do you tell an elderly person in Bhutan that they cannot have cash transactions in a bank when they put the money in there? Mr. Speaker, and I'm going to bring that up with the Ministers of Finance in the region.
While the global shift is towards banking in the digital sphere, the local economy is replete with small enterprises and tourism-dependent informal traders who transact the lion's share of their business in cash.
And I'm not saying anything that's anti-banking. In England a few months ago, the banks were forced to have an ATM machine for every 3,000 residents. An ATM machine for cash transactions. How can you tell people when they put the money in the bank, they can't take it out they must have a card to take it out, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, we should not allow that to happen. Because there are a number of people who do not have cards, will not have cards, and can't have cards. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to urge the bank to relook at that, Mr. Speaker. Another thing that is very, very disturbing, Mr. Speaker, is the fact that sometimes vendors, taxi drivers go to the bank with $200 US, $300, $400 US. They want a source of funds. And Mr. Speaker, do you know that doesn't happen in the banks in the US? Mr. Speaker, and the argument against that is money laundering, Mr. Speaker. A vendor in the arcade will launder $200 US.
In light of this, Prime Minister Pear has highlighted the need for banks to continue offering cash services in spite of the digital banking revolution. For the DBS News World, I am Zane Romulus.
Fulbright scholar and PhD candidate Aubrey Stewart is sharing an unusual connection between crime and climate change in Jamaica. Stewart's research delved into patterns across all police divisions in Jamaica over the span of a decade. CVM reporter Ronaldo Adams fills us in.
Have you heard about the term hothead or manhead hot? Well, you know what? It turns out that it's not just a saying, but there's a science behind this.
Inclement weather is often viewed as an inconvenience. But would it be less of an inconvenience if you were safer during these periods? In his latest study, Fulbright scholar and PhD candidate Aubrey Stewart examined how weather affects violent and property crimes in Jamaica. Stewart concluded that developing countries like Jamaica are particularly vulnerable to the adverse impacts of climate change.
We're seeing that eye-opening truth that a 2 degrees Celsius increase in daily temperature corresponds to a staggering 2.4% increase in total violent crimes, particularly with murder increasing by 3.4%, shootings increasing by approximately 8%, and aggravated assault by 6%.
But why?
Now, we use what was called the temperature, aggression, or heat hypothesis, which suggests that above normal temperature induces discomfort, particularly triggering psychological or physiological responses leading to more aggression. So, man it hot, man get more aggressive.
He also found that an increase in rainfall reduces crime.
A 2 millimeter increase in rainfall, right? It corresponds or correlates to a decrease in shootings by approximately 2%, a decrease in break-ins by 2.3%, and a decrease in larcenies by approximately 4%. Now, what could be the possible explanation for such a decrease when it rains in crime? Now, increased rainfall essentially may disrupt people's daily routine, encouraging them to stay indoors or to reduce the occurrence of break-ins or larceny.
Stewart suggested developing cooler infrastructures to lessen this phenomenon.
Most of the times, you are hardly outside. Their cities are built indoors. Majority of the homes and infrastructure housings, they have access to AC technology. Now, when we're building our cities, when we're building our homes, we have to consider the external factors such as temperature. So when we're building schools, when we're building homes, when we're building offices, whatever we're building, we have to consider these infrastructure to mitigate the increase in temperatures.
Ronaldo Adams, CVM News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
In association with our friends at
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Trinidad and Tobago's Police Commissioner Erla Christopher has stressed on the importance of unity and collaboration within the police service. She was speaking at the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service's Sports Day on Saturday. TTT's Sune Lala reports.
The traditional march past to a mock police exercise, futuristic policing, and a shark into the mix all added up to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service's 101st Sports Day at the police barracks in St. James. The annual event, which was overlooked by Police Commissioner Erla Christopher and National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines, brought together hundreds. Commissioner Christopher said such an event united the various sections of the TTPS, noting that it should envision unity amongst the different divisions and units.
As we embark on this day of friendly competition and shared celebration, we should also reflect on the profound significance of togetherness, cohesiveness, and solidarity in our daily service to the public.
She said an effective police service can only be realized if it is united.
We are over 9,000 strong, coming from all walks of life. By truly working together, we create a rich and unique tapestry of experiences and expertise. From the newest recruit to the seasoned veteran, we all have something to share.
Sonolala, TTT News.
Bankrupt Bahamas-based FTX to pay back customers from recovered assets of between $14 and $16 billion.
Bankrupt cryptocurrency exchange FTX indicating that it has recovered enough assets to pay most of its creditors back in full. The announcement on Tuesday comes after FTX revealed a proposed reorganization plan that contemplates payment in full of all non-governmental creditors based on the value of their claims as determined by the relevant bankruptcy court. The move is expected to resolve disputes with governmental and private stakeholders without apparent costly and protracted litigation. If the plans are approved by the U.S. courts, FTX anticipates that 98% of its creditors will receive some 188% of the amount for their allowed claims. According to FTX, it has recovered assets associated with the exchange at the time of its collapse, with an estimated value of between $14.5 billion and $16.3 billion. Meantime, FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried is serving a 25-year sentence or prison term after being convicted of fraud and conspiracy, stealing billions of dollars from FTX customer accounts and defrauding lenders to its sister company, the hedge fund Alameda Research.
Still on the Bahamas, that country's Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernanda comments on crime.
Meantime, Foxhill MP Fred Mitchell not alone in thinking that Monday's killing of a known Foxhill gang member will lead to more bloodshed. Police Commissioner Clayton Fernandez sharing with our news team that he too expects retaliation.
Intel is speaking to us with that, so we have a plan of action in place, and we will ensure that the residents in that area remain safe.
Question is, though, what more is the police force doing to actually stop the formation of gangs, which has been blamed for a fair share of homicides each year, and this considering that an anti-gang investigation task force was last year opened and the recent passing of the anti-gang bill?
Absolutely. We are doing just that. We have our intel officers on the ground. We continue to penetrate the gangs. We continue to arrest them. We were able to solve a number of our murders thus far for the year. So we continue to break that cycle with respect to the gang. And we also have our officers with respect to training based on the legislation now with the gang laws. We will be able to really throw the net on these individuals to disrupt the gangs that continue to wreak havoc in our communities.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.